close-ups and far-aways. Brittany, you want to put your chair right here? Yeah, we'll just move back and forth to that. We've got rolling chairs and it'll be easy to do.
You want to move up here?
Yeah.
Because I'm not. Move up, move.
All right, the flesh tones that we're going to talk about mixing will be from this base. If you look at different artists throughout history, they have used different colors for palettes for portraits, and it's called like a portrait palette versus a landscape portrait palette. I mean a landscape palette, I'm sorry. So what we want to do is just think about how these colors can go together to make our skin tones for what we have. Now, in the class today, if I think about myself as being sort of a middle-of-the-road kind of tone for the palette, the portraits that we're going to be doing. For instance, the Brad Boyd is the darkest person we'll do in the class today. The three of you who are doing the small children, the skin is a lot lighter. Mine is what we call in the middle of those. So if we think about light, medium, and dark, we'll think about it like that. But basically, whether you're doing an Asian or any kind of ethnic group, when you look at it, I always start with this, and I just vary it a little bit. Basically, I'm going to show you two different ways that you can get a skin tone for the young and the old, okay? We're going to do it, if you take the alizarin red and the yellow ochre and mix those two together like that, and then mix white in it, you're going to get what I'm going to say is the darker, like a man or somebody who's aged or somebody who's an ethnic person that's different than Caucasian, okay? What you end up doing when you're working through this is you've got the alizarin red, the yellow ochre, and you just go into it more with the yellow ochre if you need it to go to the golden family, or you go into it a little bit more with the red if you need to do it more like Indian, like red, okay? So that's the way that would work. The white lines it up to give you that light value. It's fun on your palette just to go ahead and make that so that you can use it when you need it. In other words, you're going to pull a little bit of paint here, you're going to pull a little paint here, you're going to actually mix it, and then down here you're going to make it a little bit more yellow or a little bit more red or a little lighter so that you have all those values right there. So when you get ready to paint, it's real easy. They're here and you just paint with them. Alright, so that's one family that's a little bit darker using the alizarin red and the yellow ochre. Now I'm going to go to the cad red and the cad yellow. And it's almost, when you get ready to do, and today everything will be a pinch and a smidgen, okay? Literally, pinch and smidgen, because that's how delicate adding one little bit of paint is going to be. But if I mix the cad yellow and the cad red, I'm going to get really orange. I mean, that's, basic. I'm going to put some of the white in with it, and you can see how orangey that is, and we know that that's not true to what, and I do a lot of painting on myself in a project like that, but see how orange that is, we know that that's not exactly what we're looking for. But it's so easy to modify with a smidgen. If we think about we want to go, well, pull some more of that out of my brush. I'm going to go over here like this and lighten it with the white. And you can see as I begin to lighten it that it's becoming more realistic compared to what we see as ourselves as being. But I'm going to even lighten it more, and that's why we need all this space to mix with. It still looks very pale, okay, compared to what our skin is, and that's because our skin has all this blood, the blood vessels and stuff underneath that we can actually see when we're looking at ourselves. That's why we have to go into the blues and add that to it to make it look more natural. This is the cerulean blue. The cerulean blue is going to give you a green effect, okay? Which is what, if you look at ourselves, if you look at us, That's exactly what's happening. Now watch if I take this and compare it. See when I put that on there? See how close that is to what is actually there? And it really is, if I put it over there, it's probably been right, you know, pretty much right on. And as it changes, and that's exactly what changes with us when we begin to paint, because if you're looking, depending on where the light's coming in, I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of the orangey color over here, and a little bit more of the blue. See how close that is as you begin to get over there? Now, you can see lighter, you can see more golden, you can see, but see how you can mix that together and you can just about hit it with what the color is. So that's the way that we're actually going with our recipe today. I don't like for anybody to mix up patches of color, you know, batches, piles, because that's not who we are. We're not one color. We're not painting a wall. We're painting a body. And so that face that we're gonna paint is gonna be a combination of something very similar to what I just showed you. Now, I use the blue mainly when we're getting ready to show the shadows, okay? Sometimes people, whoever it happens to be, may be a little more, this is the burnt sienna. Sometimes you need to add a little burnt sienna in, okay? Sometimes this is the brown, you'll need to add that in like this if you need to go a little bit darker. And that's just gonna be a call that you have to make. You have to just about spread it all like this to be able to look at it and see. But this is, the burnt sienna has more of the red in it, okay? The burnt sienna has the red in it, and that will help on Boyd a good bit. That's when you'll use that the most. She'll use that more than any of us use it today. Most of us that are doing the kids will be more like this. Now you have to think about the rosy little cheek thing. Most of us don't get, you know, have a lot of rouge on or wear makeup, but some of us are redder in the face than others. Reba has, if you're looking at her right now, her complexion is a lot redder, especially in the cheeks, than yours. You don't have that red. You're more of a golden. You have more yellow in your skin. You're really just almost dead on to being half and half with the sort of pink feel and the orangey red kind of feel. So we're all a little bit different. And that's what's so fun about this, because as you begin to come into here, and especially when you get ready to put the color on here, it just, if you've got this color combination, you can almost spot it once you start. I mean, you'll be able to see it. When we start painting, which we're gonna do in just a second, the flesh tone is gonna be the last thing we really do, okay? And that seems strange, but we're gonna use the small brush and we're gonna draw in, and I'm gonna do, the plan is to do a demonstration on eyes. I'm gonna demonstrate, and then you're gonna go paint eyes. And then I'm gonna do nose, and you're gonna paint nose. And then I'll do a demonstration on the mouth. We've got mouths that are closed and mouths that are open, teeth and no teeth. We'll do all the demonstration. You can see it if you need teeth. You can use it if not. Then you've got the top lip and the bottom lip. Then we'll do the ear. And then we'll pull all that together with these flesh tones that come over this way, okay? So the first thing we're gonna actually do would be use the small brushes and get the eyes going. The main thing that you're gonna do today is observe your photograph. You've got a photograph, it's blown up, it's big, and if you'll make that observation and only paint, paint what you see if you want it realistic. I talked about in one of the other classes about being more impressionistic if you wanted to, and I know y'all were here to learn how to make it look like what it looks like. But if you get the features in there, you can have fun painting the face and change it any way you want to, impressionistic or not. But no matter what you do, you've got, you're already there because you've got the drawing that's precise. And so we're going to follow those lines very carefully. And then it'll all just, like yesterday, by the time, in the drawing class we did, we're gonna draw the two eyes, nose, mouth, we're gonna paint that, and then all of a sudden, everything else just happens. And it can happen very fun and fantasy-like, and, you can add, you can add anything you want to it. You can have hats on them, or bows in their hair, or dogs with them, or flowers on their lapel, all that kind of fun stuff, can happen. But if we sink this in and get it, then anything else that you do with it will be really fun, okay? Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is, do eyes, okay? So, go get your picture of your eyes and hold, if you've got a little camera, if you've got your iPad, if you've got a little picture, and if you don't, get your big picture. And look at if you've got two kids and you're just gonna draw one kid, just look at one eye first, and bring that over here and we'll,
Did you say that picture of the little?
oh, it's in the printer back there, open up the top printer.